Chapter 4 Bully for You. Greetings, Annie said. Did a newspaper send you kids to spy on us? The cowboy asked with a grin. What's he talking about? Jack wondered. No, sir, said Annie. My brother and I were running from a bear, a grizzly bear. Jack. Oh, I'm sorry, but you can fool us, Sonny, said the cowboy. No grizzly in the Yosemite now. The last one was spotted 8 years ago. Right, John? He looked at the older, bearded man. That's right, sir, said John. His blue eyes twinkled as he smiled at Jack and Annie. You must have seen the black bear. They won't hurt you if you leave them alone. They mostly eat plants, roots, and berries. But they look just like a grizzly bear, said Jack. It had shaggy brown fur and real long claws. Sorry, son, said the cowboy. You have to trust my friend. We all call him John of the Mountains. He knows this wild country better than anybody. For 30 years, he's been studying for animals, trees, and rocks of Yosemite. Cool, said Annie. We're studying all of that, too, and drawing pictures of it. Good for you, young lady. Just a cowboy burst. Take me an advice. Walk softly and carry a big stick. The cowboy laughed heartily at his own joke. The other riders laughed too. Wait, would you like to see our drawings? Said Annie. No, Annie, said Jack. He could tell the riders wanted to get going. But Annie pulled out a sketchbook. She held it up to the cowboy. Check it out, she said. The cowboy took out the book from Annie. He opened it and looked at the butterfly drawing. You drew this? He said. Yes, sir, said Annie. We're artists. Oh, bully for you, said the cowboy. Wait till you see my brother's drawings, said Annie. Show him, Jack. Jack shyly handed a sketchbook to the cowboy. Excellent, said the man, staring at Jack's squirrel drawing. Here, John, take a look. The cowboy handed both books to John of the Mountains. The elderly man looked at the butterfly and squirrel sketches. His face broke into a wide grin. Goodness, you two are serious artists, he said. What are your names? Jack and Annie, said Annie. Oh, Jack and Annie, you have perfectly captured the rare alpine butterfly and the Dow squirrel. Said. Did you know that the Douglas squirrel is spread of the sequoia trees? When he eats a cone from a big tree, he scatters the seeds. In those tiny seeds, a few trees may sprout. Over hundreds of years, they'll grow into mighty giants of Yosemite. Wow, said Annie. That shows how everything is connected, doesn't it? John of the Mountains looked startled. Yes, it does, Annie, he said. One little thing in nature, like the squirrel is, hitched to the whole universe. Exactly, said Jack, trying to join the conversation. John looked at his head in wonder. You two are remarkable, he said. How did you get here? Who brought you? Our art teacher delivered us, said Jack. Her name is Morgan, said Annie. She dropped us from near the big trees. Hold on, said Cowboy Growl. Are you saying the teacher just left you alone in the woods? Oh, well, stammered Jack. He looked at Annie. It's okay. We asked her to leave us in the wilderness overnight, said Annie. We told her we wanted to spend time in Yosemite to make our nature books. She thought it would be a great opportunity for us. I don't agree, said the cowboy, scowling. It's quite risky to leave two child in the wild. Sometimes it might be, said Annie, but not for Jack and me. We're actually together than we look, and smart and braver. Jonathan Manners laughed. I believe you, Annie, he said. He turned to the cowboy, sir. Sir, did you not say yet? You wished that nature artists could travel with us? I did, said the cowboy. Well, two excellent young artists have just crossed the path, said John of the Mountains, and they can plan to spend the night in Yosemite. I call it a miracle. I still think they're too young, said the cowboy. Sir, I was out in the world working for my family when I was their age, said John. Wouldn't they be safer out on a journey than wandering in the woods alone? Wait, journey? Where are they going? Jack wondered. The cowboy looked at Jack and Annie. Annie stood straighter and held her chin up. All right, you win, John, the cowboy said, chuckling. Would you two young artists like to join us? Yes, we would, said Annie. We would? Thought Jack. He wasn't sure. We will pay you for your word, the cowboy said. Annie whispered Morgan's words to Jack. Give help to others. Give it for free. No thank you, sir. We only work for free, said Jack. But can you tell us where we're going? Of course, said the cowboy with a toothy grin. We're going nowhere, son. We're planning to get lost in the wild. Chapter 5. Lost in the wild. Lost in the wild? Jack thought. All right, Jack and Annie, said John of the Mountains. Our forest rangers will prepare the mountain mules for you. Thanks, said Annie. That sounds like fun. Charlie, John called to one of the men in blue overalls. You or Archie make room for our pack mules for our nature artists. Yes, sir, said Charlie. The gray mules were smaller than our horses. They had long ears, thick heads, and skinny legs. Both had pack saddles with bulky sized bundles. The ranger shifted the cargo forward to make room for Jack and Annie. Climb on, partners, said Charlie. With the ranger's help, Jack and Annie mounted to the mules. They sat on the back of the saddles with the bundles pushed into the front. They clutched the straps that held everything together. Be careful, a mule will always try to make a fool of you, said Charlie. Then he walked off. Not this one, said Annie. I love your bunny ears, she said to the mule. I'll call you Petty, for Peter Rabbit. She turned to Jack. You can name yours Benny, for Benjamin Bunny. Not going to happen, said Jack dryly. All set? The cowboy boomed from the front of the line. On through the wild. Remember, our aim is to steer clear of all civilization. As Jack and Mule potted at the end of the line, Jack bumped up and down. With no way to guide his mule, he felt out of control. The group left the dirt trail. Soon they were slowly climbing up a rocky path. Hey, John of the Mountains, Annie called out to John, who was riding in front of her. What's the name of the cowboy? with his mustache. John looked over his shoulder. You don't need to recognize him, he asked. Nope, said Annie. We once had a great friend named Teddy. He was a dog. John laughed. Good. Thinking of this, Teddy as a friend too, he said. But call him Sir. Sir, okay? What does a sir do? Asked Annie. Many things, said John. Years ago, he was commander of the Royal Riders in the Spanish-American War. Who are the Royal Riders? Jack called. You might call them volunteer cowboy soldiers, said John. Cool, said Annie. Whoa, Jack said to the mule. At that moment, he was having a royal ride himself. His mule was skittish. It kept veering to the right or left. Soon Jack and the mule were trailing far behind. Jack was embarrassed that he couldn't keep up with Annie and the others. Suddenly, a rabbit dashed across the trail. Jack's mule lurched off the rocky path. Jack let go of the trap. He lost his balance and fell to the ground. Annie turned to walk. Stop, everyone, she shouted. Jack fell off his mule. All the riders came to a halt. Teddy rode back to Jack. While his mule munched on a shrub, Jack stood and brushed himself off. He felt his face turn red. He wanted to disappear. Are you all right? Teddy boomed. Did he throw you? No, sir. It was my fault, said Jack. I made a mistake and lost my balance. Oh, don't worry about it, son, said Teddy. The person who never makes a mistake is one who never tries anything. Yes, sir, said Jack. Be positive, Jack, said Teddy. Talk to yourself. Say, I can ride this mule. If you believe that, you're halfway there. Teddy flashed a grin. I personally know that you can succeed at this, Jack. The cowboy tipped his hat. Then he rode it back to the head of the line. Jack took a deep breath. He wanted to make sure that Teddy believed in him. I can do this, he mumbled to himself. I can totally ride a mule. Jack climbed onto his mule. He talked in a whisper to himself. I can ride a mule. I can do this. I can keep up. I can do this. The mule seemed to hear Jack's words. Soon it was keeping a steady pace behind the others. Teddy looked back and waved his hat at Jack. Good work, Jack, he called. Jack waved a smile. As he bumped along the mule, he no longer felt worried. Forgetting himself, he looked eagerly at the passing century, shrubs, birds, wildflowers. He wanted to stop and sketch everything. After a while, Teddy held up his hands and brought a group to a halt. Jack and Annie hopped down from the mules. The others dismounted from their horses. Teddy was not nearly as tall as he seemed on his horseback, Jack realized, but a snout, cheerful cowboy seemed larger than life. Showtime, Teddy bellowed. 6. Royal Riders. The two rangers opened the saddlebags. They handed out pieces of cold chicken, chunks of dry bread, and candy. After a quick bite of bread and a drink of water, Jacob pulled out a sketchbook. Annie did the same. With their magic pencils, they started sketching. Annie sketched a cedar tree, and Jacob drew a pile of boulders shining in the moon sun. He quickly sketched the lines and curves, adding shadow and light. While Jack and Annie sketched, John studied a stone with a magnificent grass. Teddy imitated a bird's call. Teddy made a quick zipping sound. "Fuzz-bew, fuzz-bew." "Will flycatcher," said John. Without looking up from the stone she was studying, Teddy made high, short whistle sounds. "Lark sparrow," said John, still peering through his magnificent glass. Jack could tell that Teddy and John had played this game before. Teddy whispered, "Q, Q, Q, dark-eyed Junko," Annie said. John looked up. He and Teddy laughed. "Wonderful, Annie," said John. Jack laughed too. He was proud of Annie, but he wished he also knew bird calls Annie had learned from Uncle Josh. Teddy clapped his hands together. "It's time to be on our way," he said. "Let's get further lost in the wild." Jack and Annie put away their sketchbooks. They walked back to the mules and climbed on. Riding along the trail, Jack looked around again. He wanted to draw everything he saw: trees, stem, weeds, wildflowers, birds. As the horses and mules climbed higher, clouds covered the sun. The air turned colder. To Jack's surprise, snowflakes began falling. The wind began to blow. Soon the whole sky was dark gray. "Oh man," whispered Jack, his teeth chattered. The wind from the thunderstorm blew harder, until Jack could hardly see. He shivered and wished he could find shelter. The riders kept going. The mules and horses plodded up a snow-covered trail. Jack's face was freezing in blinding wind mist. "I love this weather," Teddy shouted. "I agree. There's nothing more fun," shouted John of the Mountains. "Are you joking?" said Jack. He couldn't feel his hands anymore. His fingers were stiff and frozen as icicles. "You kids okay back there?" Teddy called to Jack. Checking in. "Yes, sir. I love snow," shouted Annie. "Why, it's a grand adventure, isn't it?" called Teddy. "Yes, sir," Jack shouted, but to himself he whispered, "This is the worst. We're freezing to death. We're lost. We're tired." Just before Jack had lost all hope, the weather changed again. The snow stopped falling. The wind stopped blowing. The sun broke through the clouds. The sky turned gray to blue. Jack heard laughter from John and mountains. "I promise you a wild weather, sir," he called to Teddy. "Didn't I deliver?" "Indeed you did, my friend." "Thank you," shouted Teddy. Glacier Point soon, and camp time. After a short ride, the horses and mules came to a halt on the fault part of the trail. The ground ahead was bordered by pine trees. Teddy and John jumped out of their horses. The two men climbed some boulders and disappeared over to the top of a ledge. Jack and Annie held of the mules. Annie pulled out a sketchbook. "Let's draw," he said to Jack. "You go ahead. I need to rest a minute," he said. Annie sat on a rock and began sketching the pine trees. Charlie gathered branches to make a fire. Archie attended to the animals. Jack sat alone. He was sore from the mule ride. His hands and face still hurt from the freezing snow. "Annie is always too strong and happy like confident," he said. Why wasn't he more like her? Why wasn't he more like Teddy and John and Charlie and Archie? What was wrong with him? "Jack!" Annie called. John called from above. "Come see the view of the overlook." Annie stopped sketching the pines and leapt to their feet. "Let's go," Annie said. "No, you go ahead. Look at the view without me." Really? Oh, please come. Annie said, I want you to really see too. Jack said, okay, she said. He dragged himself up to the ground and followed Annie. They scrambled over the boulders to the overlook. Wow, said Annie. Jack gasped. It was the greatest view he'd ever seen. The valley was bordered by rock formations and as high as mountains, a roaring waterfall plunged down a sheer rock wall. The massive rocks and water were shimmering in the golden light of the Yosemite sunset. Teddy was gazing through the binoculars at the vast open space. Winter snows are melting everywhere, said John. Everything is alive. Water's full, fish swim, birds fly. Bully for spring, said Teddy. The others had laughed. Jack laughed too. He was so overwhelmed by the view, he forgot how tired he felt. He forgot to worry about himself. This valley was formed millions of years ago by glaciers, said John, and that's the tallest waterfall in the United States. In full moonlight, it's an incredible sight. I'd love to see that, said Jack. Perhaps someday you will, said John. But tonight we have only a slender new moon. Slowly, the sun slipped behind the high rocks and the waterfall. The sky changed from gold to purple. Teddy put his binoculars away. He turned to Jack and Annie and smiled. You're both true road riders today, he said, weathering to the snowstorm on the back of your mules. Never complaining, never stopping. Life is a grand adventure, is it not? Yes, sir, said Jack. Annie. Yes, sir, said Jack. It is. At this time, he meant it.